I'm going to walk you through how I get great crashes for myself and with my students. I'm going to preface this by saying not everybody teaches crash cymbals the same way. That's totally fine. This might be a different way for you to think about it, but this is what I do with my students. I find it pretty easy to incorporate right away and pretty easy to get great sounds right away. The first thing to know is that every great crash has a flam. So in that, just like we would on our snare drum, if we play a flam, we don't have the sticks hit at the same time. When we play our cymbals, it's going to happen not at the same time with the edges being crashed together. So the edges are going to hit at 2 different points. In order to do this, and this is what I believe makes this method so easy, is I'm going to take my non-striking cymbal and put that in my left hand, and I'm going to hold it at a 45-degree angle like this. This cymbal is not going to move, or it's going to move very little. It's not actually part of the crash when I play. Again, this is where some people differ. They want to use both hands. I like using just one hand for a little bit more control, especially with my students. So I'm going to have my non-striking cymbal at a 45-degree angle, and it stays stationary. Then I'm going to pick up my striking cymbal, and I'm going to set it up at a different angle, not 45. So I usually go a little bit more flat, and I try to make sure, if you can see, the edges overlap. So it doesn't meet edge to edge, it meets like this. And this is super important when it comes down to making that flam that we talked about, okay? Once I have this set up, it's actually really easy. Gravity does all the work. So my striking hand is at that different angle. It's literally going to go straight down. And when it does that, because this cymbal is at a 45-degree angle and this cymbal's at a different angle, it's going to hit here at the top and then roll through and hit at the bottom. And that's going to make it an automatic flam every single time. So that's what this sounds like. Again, you can hear the top hit first, then the bottom hit, it opens up. It happens fast enough because I do push my hand down. I don't just let it fall naturally, but I push it so that the cymbals, the flam isn't so open that it sounds like 2 separate crashes, but it sounds like one crash. Here, go ahead and listen again. You'll see my setup is my 45-degree angle, my different hand, and just let gravity do its thing. Now from there, if I want to adjust my volumes, I just adjust the angle of my bottom hand. So if I want a louder crash, I'm going to make a larger flam happen. So I don't really do anything different with my top hand other than just let it fall still. But I just let my bottom hand, instead of being a 45-degree angle, I'll go a little closer to 90, whatever this is, maybe 75, 80 degrees. Okay, but that's going to give me a bigger flam and a louder crash as long as I push through it on that. So again, if I want smaller, softer crashes, I'm going to make that angle a little bit more flat. Here we go. It makes my flam a little tighter, okay, which makes it softer. Now this is also how I will play fast crashes in a march. The only thing that sometimes I'll change up depending on how many crashes or how fast, instead of overlapping my cymbals like this to where you can't see the non-striking cymbal, sometimes I'll overlap them like this just so I can move a little faster and get those crashes to be a little bit lighter, which will look and sound like this. So again, this is what I do with my students and for myself, and I find that it's a pretty high success rate just because there's less moving in pieces and parts for the crashes. And then it's picking the correct pair of crash cymbals for the sound that you're looking for. Hopefully this video helps.